Thank you, Daniel. And it's really a pleasure and an honor to stand here. My name is Lenneke Vaandrager. I'm from the Wageningen University. And together with Lucy, we're taking over the presentation of Jan Eelco, who couldn't unfortunately come here. And after that, Enrico will also go into the benefit part. So what's it all about? It's about this lovely leaflet, which you can actually find in the back of the hallway if you want a copy. But also for those who are online, you can find the material online as well. Because we started as a group within FOA to actually develop and think about a typology. And what did we actually, why was that the case? It works. Because we know that the world is rapidly developing, and also the urban agricultural types are also rapidly developing also around, think of things like vertical farming or rooftop gardenings. Things like that are quickly developing. So there was already quite some work out there about how could we actually define a typology for urban agriculture. But we decided also it's good to have a step from scratch and try to develop a typology which is also a little bit more flexible and can be used in various situations, and also to look at the benefits which might be possible. So we built on previous work which was from the cost action, actually, where there were already a number of typologies like home-based gardening, the community-based and other shared forms of gardening, the commercial crop production, livestock and fisheries, and institutional food growing. So there you saw that there are different types of typologies based in this work, and we said, let's look at it again and what's possible there. So what we did is actually did some literature reviews here, and also interviewed a number of experts about what are important dimensions. Dimensions like type of products produced, or location, or ownership, things like that. And based on that, we developed a survey which was distributed among all different, we have of course this large network, so we could actually share this questionnaire amongst a lot of actual urban agricultural initiatives, and ask them, what is your urban farm looking like? And after that we did a type of cluster analysis, and we got 112 actually responses. And based on that, this new typology, or sort of building up typology, was developed. So here you can see the development a little bit of these dimensions. So from each type, like product, or ownership, or time, or size, we actually looked at subcategories, and we had questions about all these subcategories towards in the questionnaire, which we asked to all the different initiatives. And here you can see that we got a number of many responses, 112 in total, over all Europe, which was very interesting. And we could see that there is loads of variety there in urban agriculture, actually. Then we also asked the different initiatives here presented, saying, if you would characterize yourself, what typology would you give yourself? And we made cluster analysis of that, and we looked how it sort of came together. And what we found is that a lot of people name themselves, for instance, they say we're a community garden, but they have a lot of similar characteristics as for instance, a more commercial type of garden. So clustering that is the picture on the left, didn't really make sense. And we said we could better actually look at all these different elements, dimensions, which we collected, and do a type of cluster analysis. And it's very difficult to see, but we actually found 6 types of clusters, which came together with 10 characteristics. And from here, I give the word to Lucy, who will explain different types.
Yeah, thank you, Lanneke. So these are the 6 different types that we came up with, and I won't introduce each and every one in detail. So again, I'm referring you to this glossy where you can read all about it, including some practical examples. Thank you. And maybe one thing that I need to highlight at the start is that these are really ideal types. So as you can see, they include an urban farm, a community park, a do-it-yourself garden, a zero acreage farm, a social farm, and a community garden. And there's a lot more. As Lanneke was saying, the diversity of urban agriculture is enormous. So these are really just some ideal types, and actually what we tried to do in developing this typology was to focus, instead of producing these very sort of solid boxes and categories, to focus on the different dimensions that are useful to think about when seeing where an urban agriculture initiative would actually fit. And these are some of the dimensions in detail. I will actually skip ahead a little bit more and show first this bigger overview where you can see sort of the broader categories that we used to categorize these ideal types. So these are referring to spatial aspects, they're referring to production, to some operational or organizational dimensions, and lastly, to how the community is involved. And based on these 4 broad categories, again going back to this example of the urban farm, in each of them there are some subcategories that we looked at. So in total there are 4 big categories and 10 smaller subcategories, and actually all of these can be seen as a spectrum where each urban agriculture initiatives can be positioned. So looking at these 10 indicators, you could almost develop a sort of a passport for each initiative. But going back to the 6 ideal types, so for instance on the example of the urban farm here, this would cover the initiatives that, as you can see, are relatively high in area, in acreage. They are outdoor located. They tend to be located in the city. And they are producing vegetables of diverse varieties for sale. So they are really market oriented, as you can see in the operational dimension. But they also have a community dimension. So each of these 6 different types would have a different, different kind of positioning on these spectrums. So our approach in developing this typology was, as I said, really looking at these dimensions instead of creating some fixed types. Well, that was it. But building this really connects well to the different benefits that Enrico Gotero will introduce in a moment, so that each of these 6 ideal types really connects to specific functions and therefore benefits of urban agriculture. And I'm gonna give the word to Enrico, unless there's a very quick clarifying question from the audience. If not, then I think for the sake of time we will move ahead. Thank you. Oh, I see a hand.
There is a
My question is, in your development of the typology, did you look at previous typologies that were developed, and which ones did you look at, and what did you pull from them or not?
Yeah, so this was included in one of the first slides of Lanneke.
Yeah, so if we go back to...
No,
we can't go back.
To it anymore.
No, we started also from the typology developed in the cost action, the previous one. So that was like the community garden, what was it? the more commercial type, more institutional food growing, and more home-based gardening. But that we found that if these titles were used, people were actually different type of initiatives were using the same labels, but were doing actually different things. So that's why we sort of developed, made it more flexible. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So Enrico?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Just a moment that I try to share the screen. Can you see the screen? Okay, thank you. Thank you to colleagues. I'm very sorry not to be there with you. And anyway, thanks to all for giving me the opportunity to attend online and discuss the work of Polito team in result of task 3.2 on the benefit. This has been extensively discussed in the literature. However, a systematic and comprehensive analysis and overview of the potential benefits of urban agriculture that also includes any unwanted effect was lacking. In addition, how to evaluate these benefits and what benefits are produced by different typologies of urban agriculture are frequently overlooked issues. So, in this task, we explore mainly what the benefits are and how these benefits are monitored and assessed. The benefits of urban agriculture are manifold and concern different spheres of urban sustainability. But if you probably address urban agriculture can contribute to the achievement of the main goals of urban agenda to several urban policy teams. For these reasons, we define 5 potential categories of urban agriculture: benefits and water effect, social, cultural, environmental and climate, food, health and well-being, and economic dimension. We classify and systematize benefits not as a compartment, but following this main subdivision and considering different overlaps, different connection between typologies and different types of benefits. This subdivision, this allocation were defined in close cooperation with the colleagues of the FOR project, confirmed by the literature review and by the opinion of stakeholders that we involved through interviews, through survey and so on. The research was carried out using different methods. The literature review interviews that using different methods. The literature we benefit from.
Enrico, can you hear us?
I think they tried to reconnect.
Sorry? Ah, okay.
obviously we lose Enrico because he's not anymore connected for I don't know the reasons, but it seems that he has a very bad connection where he is. And our suggestion is to move to the next session from the program and just to continue. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but.
And maybe to add, because the work is also to be found really easily through the website, and we're actually building on this typology and actually the benefits to build now an online type of portfolio where you can very easily, and we discussed that also yesterday, based on benefits, look at typology. So we are making that connection as a next step. Frank. Maybe we need a microphone because then people also online can hear it.
Okay, so maybe just to Frank, please move to the microphone. Okay. Yeah, I think this is fine, but maybe we can also talk about typology also when you talk about the FAO source book, because there's also a typology, I think, with 4 categories, which is on the global level, and we have this one for the European level. And I think we have to, maybe find a way to include one in each other to how to go along with 2 typologies. So I think this is maybe a question we can raise then when discussing also Guido's
Excellent.
lecture.